Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Too Many Convos with Kenny Too Many. Today's episode is about decisions and the ripples they have, not just to you, your plans, your future, etc., but those around you. Um, at a very basic level, obviously, every decision has a consequence, good or bad, or indifferent from that matter. Um, If you speed, you might get a ticket. If you drive drunk, you might crash and die and kill other people or yourself. Um, if you steal, you could get arrested. If you kill somebody, you go to jail for the rest of your life. Um, Cause and effect. It's everywhere in life. It's the simplest things every single day. Every decision you make has an effect and a cause, and the theme of causality, um, no matter what. You know what I mean? And in some way, shape, or form, all of those decisions on any given day not only affect you in the course of your day, life, etc., but the ones around you. Um, I know I just spat out like a bunch of very extreme versions, but say you get up, something stupid. Ready? So say I get up early, right, and I beat Peyton down for breakfast, and I have the last of the corn pops, and I finish the corn pops, and she comes down and she says, "Oh man, where are the corn pops?" And I was like, "I ate them." Well, she was like, "Well, I was planning to eat the corn pops, so my decision, whether big or small, was very minor, to eat the rest of the corn pops, had a downstream effect and ripple on Peyton." So, so it's super simple, but it also can be really complicated. Um, and it's not just the ones where you would know that, yeah, the decision I'm going to make is going to affect other people. Um, because those are the obvious ones, very, very clearly. Putting people in danger or changing the course of people's lives or making decisions for your children that change the course of their lives. Sometimes you have to make decisions for people who can't make decisions for themselves. And not only does it affect you, but it clearly affects them. So obviously, your day to day stuff, you're making a billion decisions. How you dress. Did you remember to brush your teeth? Are you going to take a shower today, or are you going to take a shower at night? Are you going to do it in the morning? Am I going to work out today? Am I going to eat breakfast or not? I'm not talking about all of those. We make a million simple decisions a day. Now, I will say you can schedule some of these items so you don't have to make certain decisions in a day, and you can streamline yourself. There are people out there that pare down their wardrobe. So it's one less decision they have to make in a given day. I'm pretty much a planner in that regard. Like I leave my gym clothes out in the morning, in the at night before I go to bed. So when I get up in the morning, I don't have to search around. I literally get up, I grab them, I put them on, and I go work out. And it's taking stuff like that out of the day, scheduling, sticking to a schedule, creating those behaviors. Well, at the beginning is theoretically a decision making process, but as it becomes a behavior, it's habit. So it's not a decision anymore. You're just going to do X, Y, and Z because that's what I do. So you can streamline your life with simple things like that, and those types of things have positive ripples in that effect. They affect yourself in the fact that you can be very streamlined, you can be very regimented, um, and they affect the people around you. Um, in the fact that you can just be more present for other things type of deal. Um, but what I'm more talking about is sometimes you don't realize if you don't take the time to think about it, especially when you're younger. It's different when you're older. It's very simple. It's very simple for me to um, take time to think about a decision, see who it's going to affect, how it's going to affect, within reason. I'm not a soothsayer. I'm not a psychic. But within reason, if you're a smart enough person, you can absolutely think through a decision and see what the ripples are going to be. It's not rocket science. Um, so I do, and a lot of adults do. It's how we have to function, especially when you have a family and you have people rely on you, and you have children, et cetera, et cetera. You have responsibilities. You need to think through your decisions, at least in some capacity, to make sure that the ripples coming off of them do not cause a detriment to your life. The problem is when you're growing up, especially think about when you were a kid, cause and effect, especially when you're young, doesn't exist. I was on a beach one time when I was a kid, and my mom and my stepdad love saying the story. And I was playing with mud, and I was just throwing it in the air and trying to duck out of the way, throwing it in the air and trying to duck out of the way. That's a decision I made as a kid. Why? Just because I fucking could. It doesn't matter. It wasn't life altering. And then one of the times I threw it up, I got mud directly in my ear canal. My mom said they were working the sand out of my ear for like a week and a half. So you don't think about cause and effect when you're little. You don't really have to, and it's a learned behavior and a taught behavior. Obviously, I didn't throw sand in the ear anymore and get it in my ear. It was learning. It was learning, but it's very simplistic when you're young. But as you get older, your decisions become more and more and more complicated. The decisions you made when you were 5 versus the decisions you make when you were 10 versus 13, 15, 16, 18, so on and so forth, they become more and more complicated. And therefore, the ripples affect more and more people and in more and more complicated and differing ways. I bring this up because I clearly, I have my, Jordan's going to be 18. She's going to be an adult. And parenting a teenager is definitely an interesting journey, to say the least. I do feel exceedingly blessed that I'm young enough and close enough to her in age, where I definitely have a little more skin in the game when I'm talking about these things than, say, older parents. I know we've all been there. All parents, regardless of age, have all been there. We've all been teenagers, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm far closer to her generation and understanding truthfully where she's coming from. And I understand her more as a person as well. But I digress. Where we're going through some of these things, and she is making decisions in whatever capacity, and not truly thinking about the ripples downstream and who they're affecting. It's okay to be selfish sometimes. It's okay to make decisions that you want to make. Um, but if you know those decisions in some form or capacity are going to potentially affect relationships to a detriment, and that could be based on planning, based on plans, based on promises, based on anything. Maybe it just is like a truly shitty decision, but you try not to make those. But at that point, if you're going to make decisions, communicating those decisions, changes, etc., becomes paramount to keeping the rapport and trust and confidence in that relationship built. Um, and now, as an adult, you know that. You hope you do. Um, as a young adult, teenager turning into an adult, I get it because that life experience doesn't exist yet. Um, but us as parents are trying to instill those values in our children every day. But we can't force people to listen. We can't force people to learn without making their own mistakes. We can try, and try as we may. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I would rather her make 1,000 mistakes that I've never made before so she can learn her own lessons than make one of the mistakes I've already fucking lived through and do it all over again, especially when equipped to not make those mistakes. So, you know, it's certainly a learning experience for me as a parent. Parenting a teenager and whatnot, it's Certainly an Indiana Jones style adventure where you never know what's around the other corner and it's always a fucking puzzle and there's people chasing you and there's not really people chasing you, but you get my drift. Um, but I wanted to just talk about this quickly because it's obviously it's first and foremost very current in my life. But yeah, just I think we take for granted the amount of simple decisions we make that don't affect a lot of people. That sometimes when we make a potentially life altering decision or relationship altering decision, if it doesn't seem like it's going to affect us that much and it's not that important to us, sometimes we don't take the extra time and go the extra step, the extra mile to understand those outward flowing ripples on who they're going to touch and how it's going to affect them. Because I guarantee you, if every person in the world took the time to analyze their decisions before they made them a little bit more, the world will be a better place. Absolutely. Um, but we got to get there one step at a time. So, yeah, just remember every decision you have creates ripples outwards, and those ripples touch other people. And it's just try to be cognizant of the fact that you're affecting people more than you know at any level, good, bad, or indifferent. Thank you.